I am Panda Capri. So, yeah, hello everyone, and off we already go, as it seems.
Yep. So, we'll get the streams synced here in just a moment. We are in for a treat today. We are watching a race of my favorite game, Azure Dreams. Azure Dreams is a dungeon crawling roguelite game. So that means that our runners will be seeing how fast they can go within an hour. Can they make it to the top of the tower, which is floor 40? And can they do so in just the 60 minutes they have before their opponent does? Obviously, getting to the top of the tower in a single go is quite difficult. They do have the option in this tournament to leave the tower and come back in, whether they leave the tower voluntarily or by accident. That is to say, an unfortunate incident with a trap or something like that. That's one of the things that are major dangers in this game, but thankfully we have at least used the Azure Dreams randomizer to seed the tower. So that means while they will have a procedurally generated tower, the tower that they receive will be the same between the two runners. And we can see that we're just syncing up the streams here. Yeah, there we go. Now everything's a little bit more in sync, and we can see that there isn't too much of a difference between the two runners at this point.
Yeah, and so basically, if you really don't know what you're currently watching, if you know basically Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, this is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon before it was cool. So to say, yep, I mean, I don't know any other game that is in this style basically before that, so... Well, basically, that's the original kinda for me, at least.
Yeah, there certainly aren't that many. There was Torneko and Shiren the Wanderer. Those are both games which came before this, and employed some of the same things that we'll see here. We see right now Azureyume is going for a little bit of a skip, going around some text prompts. This first floor, well, it's possible to use the randomizer to skip over it or block can use text prompts. We do have this very similar to any percent.
Whoa. That was quick. So, one less CUNY here on Azure side.
Yeah, that caught me off guard.
Me too, so I didn't expect to see that. But here's another flame that's also a little bit of a threat right now, so using a flame ball here to get really quick rid of it.
Yep.
But yeah.
CUNY, the little blue and yellow guy, is one of your main sources of damage. That most players use him in the mode where he performs a magic attack, or casts a magic spell on your attack, I should say, which increases the amount of damage you deal. It is possible to go up without him. That the people who speedrun this game definitely do a particular. Yes, exactly, and they have all the more of my respect for it, because the tower is rather unforgiving. Most likely, we see Yumi continuing here potentially until he finds a wind crystal, which is the item which allows you to exit the tower voluntarily and keep your items with you. He may choose to find one of those, leave, and then come back when he's able to pick up CUNY again. He may be looking for a restore scroll to revive CUNY, or he may just decide, you know what, Oh, wow! Restore scroll on floor 3. Yumi is going to be quite happy with that. We'll call that a commentator's blessing there.
Yeah, but you shouldn't overdo it, because otherwise, like, oh, how about what's it called again? The flame rod?
Oh yes, the
scarlet wand, right? Yeah, like that, and then suddenly it's something worse.
Yeah, I'll keep from getting too overzealous here. So just popping out chat here, just make sure I'm able to keep an eye on what's going on there. We see Deme's come up to floor 3 as well, and you can see that because we've seeded the tower, the items are exactly the same, in the same positions. Initial monster spawns also the same, and if they were to perform even the same actions, they would get the same damage rolls, crit chances, dodge chances, everything like that. But as soon as their actions begin to deviate, we will see that one could encounter a trap that the other just doesn't, or just get different rolls on numbers and all of that. So it does take a little bit of the randomness out of this game, but this is our STARS tournament, which STARS is an acronym standing for Starting Tamers and Rising Stars. So the participants here, we are limited to those that do not have a sub 1 hour time on the any percent leaderboard as of when the tournament began. And we're hoping to highlight runners who either are new to the game or may have been around for a while, but might have had difficulty going up against some of the giants of the community who have, I think the any percent time is now down to 24 minutes, something ridiculous like that. And yes, the recursive acronyms, definitely a lot of fun. I think it was Sand Knight who came up with that one.
Yeah, probably it was. I mean, well.
Right.
But not only that, even as a beginner, if you're really interested in this game, it's really a lot of fun. But it's also extremely cruel. So dying is not just an option, it's pretty much guaranteed in one way or another.
I think that's quite true.
It's brutal.
It definitely is. But if you take that as part of the fun, then, just like in a different sense, Dark Souls or something like that, where you come expecting it, you can relish in the fact that you were able to scrape your way past a situation that when you were less experienced, you didn't know how to get out of. So this is a very unusual condition that just happened to CUNY there. I'm not particularly fond of the way that the game translates it over, but it basically means that you're unable to give items to CUNY until the effect wears off. So if CUNY's health were to be low and you'd need to give him a medicinal herb, you would not be able to do that. Or MP were to become low, which is like the hunger meter, if you're familiar with a mystery dungeon game, were to become low, you would not be able to restore that by giving an item. Here we see the frog is not a normal monster in the tower. It's been another monster that's been transformed from that seal on the floor. The frog trap, it can be quite a dangerous trap, but because you still have options, we can see the Mana Weaver has now stopped cosplaying as a frog. Yeah, that's definitely true, Wugga. So Wugga is one of those absolute beasts of the community that I mentioned, and I use the word beasts here in only the most respectful sense of the word, as Wugga is a true gentleman. Glad to see. Ooh. So one of the things that you're going to see right now is the use of those limited resources on... they're going to try to conserve them where possible, but you see that Yumi did have to use a fireball charge to deal with that Menueva because it was a water element, and Kuni's attack gives or Kuni's magic gives Ko's attack a fire element, and the elemental triangle here is fire is weak to water, water is weak to wind, wind is weak to fire. So the attacks were dealing less damage. That's the second Holy Scroll that the runners have found. That will be nice.
That was, yeah, surely a good way to protect yourself from a lot of very dangerous situations that you can, juke yourself out with that. So that's really nice to have. Surely Deme will find that soon as well.
Right.
I hope so, at least.
Yes, there's a few ways that the item or monster spawns can become slightly desynced based off of if they happen to have like 2 or more wind crystals in their inventory, or if they lose their familiar just because the game does a different number of RNG checks. Interesting here, we're seeing Yumi, who's the first up to floor 6. We're actually going to switch over to his audio so we can because Yumi is in the lead currently, and finds a stream wand. That's nice, but it's a pretty bold move exploring floor 6 because of the elemental triangle mentioned earlier, that floors 6 through 9 are the water floors, where a decent chunk of the monsters are water elemental, which can make things quite difficult.
Not just very difficult, also extremely deadly. So, as soon as we see the next bunch of new enemies, this is basically the bane of every new and probably still old players. So, yeah, this tower has a lot to offer how to kill you, basically. So, getting past like floor 6 till 9, it's really tough at first, so you really have to be a lot careful around here.
Quite, because the game does not expect you to complete the tower in a single climb. It's expecting you to, make it up, maybe floor 5 or 6, to run into some of these monsters like the Bloom, and either figure out that you can use a wind crystal to leave the tower, because the game neither tells you to do so, nor does it provide you with the means to do so. So it's up to your luck to be able to exit. Once you do so, Ko's level will reset, but Kuni's will not. So you're able to maybe progress a little bit farther, maybe make it up to the 10th floor on your next time, and do some activities in the town, which we will probably not get to see much of.
And that nice place, Springtrap, right in front of the elevator.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah, basically, as you can already see, it does exactly what it says. It yeets you off basically to the next floor. Can be sometimes really nice, except when it's in front of something of an item that you really wanted.
Yes. Although I've definitely also seen it launch a monster, and that's really nice when there is something, major threat heading towards you, and just seeing it go sprawling up to the next floor. That's always a highlight.
Also, Azure just collected a holy bell, which is also extremely nice to have.
Yep. And Wooga points out the play that Deme made while having gotten confused by that confusion trap. Your movement and attack directions are random, but you are still able to control which direction you face in order to pick up items or fire or throw items. So runners can use that as well as picking up their familiar to be able to mitigate the effects of those traps. That's one of those cases where a little bit of knowledge and experience. I know that Deme is an experienced runner. She knew just what to do there.
I mean, some of those traps are really a little bit different from what you would be used from other games, for example. Like hitting, for example, a blind trap is not exactly what you would expect from, if you have played different RPGs or something like that. It's not only your character that is blind and maybe doesn't hit. No, basically you are blind. So it's really fun to navigate through complete utter darkness.
Yeah.
The game has a really interesting idea of traps, basically. So you really need to be careful around those if you can avoid.
Right. So we see the runners now are on the same floor. Yumi still is in the lead, having made it onto the floor first. And I do like that play, while still a few spaces from the bloom, making sure to eat a medicinal herb. Did have two encounters that were quite costly in terms of HP usage. HP is a resource, but if you're having to walk into a room with a low amount of HP, I like that play that's Deme is done. She's gone and picked up a sea seed and thrown it at that bloom to change the enemy monster element to wind. And
there it is.
Yes. So there we have Yumi escaping to floor 9 while Deme is making careful movement to try to get away from this U-boat. U-boat's one of the deadlier monsters of the tower.
If I would say so, one of the most ridiculous, because it can be directly beneath you and you can absolutely do nothing against this.
Quite, yes.
At least I can't.
There's a few things that runners are able to do to manipulate it, in that you can, if it's below ground, you can step on the same tile as it to cause it to move away, known as U-boat dancing. As well as, potentially, you can, if you were playing after you've beaten the game, use a particular familiar that's only available after beating the game to kill it with the one-hit KO attack. So, Deme's slugging it out here, but this is a little bit dangerous because that mana wave is,
that's really close.
Yes, I don't see how much HP CUNY has, but he's got to be getting pretty low there. Deme still does have a Restore Scroll, but Ko's HP is quite low. Using that medicinal herb.
14.
Yes, so he's able to take a single hit without dying, and using the medicinal herb there, definitely a good play. Meanwhile, Yumi is taking on that volcano from the high ground. This game does have high ground, low ground mechanics, where attacking from the high ground does give you a boosted damage and reduces incoming damage from direct attacks. Was that a charge on the binding ball used on that volcano? I missed that. So to answer your question in chat from Victor, so the goal here is to make it as high as you can in 1 hour. If you were to make it to the top floor, floor 40, within that time limit, you would straight up win. but that's quite a tall order. I think we may have seen that be done once this tournament. And should the runners both only ever make it to the same floor, whoever got to that floor first would be declared the winner. In the event that the runners leave the tower for whatever reason, their highest floor stands. So if Yume were to leave, re-enter, and never make it up to floor 10 again, that would still count as his top floor reached, and also would count that he had reached it first. I thought I should build a little bit of a tracker that goes right in the middle between the two screens so we can track their progress. I should get on that.
Yeah, so basically, if we take that as sample and Azure would die here on the 10th floor, and Deme got to the 11th, that would also make her up to the lead. So you at least want to try to get that one floor higher than the other player in order to not have a tie or just flat out lose.
Of course, but it's also true that the players are playing blind in the sense that they're not able to see how far their opponent has gotten. So the best they can do is just...
gut feeling.
Yes, gut feeling. Like, oh man, this was such a dangerous room. Surely they had to have, ripped on that floor.
I think you can pretty feel safe when you hit like 3 spring traps in a row in very specific locations that you're pretty sure that the other players won't hit.
Yes, that could theoretically be the case, but because you know that at least barring some of those exceptions that I mentioned, you are going to have the same tower on both sides. Does mean that if you find just in the middle of a floor right next to a very good item, a go-up trap or something like that, you can assume it's quite likely that your opponent hit the same.
Yeah, very, very likely. Also, something that Deme has done in the previous floor right now, there were some traps on the ground, and which is a nice mechanic, as I think, is that you can actually hit those traps and, well, deactivate those or check them. That's a nice detail that you can effectively also use in the game.
Quite true.
But also we have a U-boat blocking Deme's way here, which is also scary, but...
she's able to dispatch it. Yep. And able to actually get the first hit on that U-boat. That's a rarity. Normally, the U-boats are below ground, and they insist on going first. Very inconsiderate of them. So we found the blue color on Yume's side. This is a special item which spawns on floor 12, assuming that there's not one of the rare cases where it can get overwritten, and it allows you to pull out a second familiar at the same time, which also allows fusion. So Yume has hatched his Palumpa, a water-type familiar. He will now, at some point, fuse that into Cuny, and that will mean that Cuny will be able to do considerably more damage in... first off,
Seems like we were cutting a little bit off here right now. Also, what we can see on Azure side, there was a little enemy called Kraken, which are very, very obnoxious. Azure used one of the magic spells. There's another one. Because they really like to deflect your attacks. So hitting them is basically just, stop slapping yourself. So you really don't want to do this as well. And Azure's really on a good pace right now, with a lead of 3 floors. Well, depending on what we will see, there's a lot of items here on the ground as well, so... Okay, Tamar Fruit is good. Another Holy Scroll. And the inventory is quite full, so... And a malicious bell, I see. With that kind of loaded inventory, you basically wanna go up as fast as you can and... Oh? Looks like Azure is going to... Yeah. Use both together as programmer already explained. Which will boost Cuny's attack. Which will definitely help along the way and gains the trait to be... Yeah, that no brainwash effect will be effective here. Also on floor 14 we have a new kind of biome, you could say, so with each biome there are some kind of new enemy types which have their own gimmicks kinda-ish, so everything is still pretty deadly, and the game starts to ramp up the difficulty on those floors, especially high. It just gets even worse basically, but overall, if you manage to avoid all the monsters with good manipulation and good control of your walking, you can kinda outsmart them in a lot of situations. And there's a spring trap, which is of course really good if, especially like now, was something on your tail. Yeah, but Deme here is still a little bit of a pickle right now. Dispatch the clown with a fireball, which is good, because I personally really hate clowns as enemies, because they can drain your XP. Which is really not that great if you're very close to level up and have your little bit of extra HP and it's gone! Who would have guessed? Oh, that's really a lot of Holy Scrolls in the inventory of Azure. This will really help to fend off some very dangerous situations later on. But so far the floor Azure is on is really tame, so far so good, you could say.
Ah, I am back. Apparently Discord liked to do its once an hour crash just right then and there. And so I was happily talking into the void for, a good minute, 2 minutes. How long was I gone for?
Something along those lines, but definitely yes.
Oh, sorry to leave you for that. Here we see Yume facing off against a troll. We've seen this enemy a few different times in the tower. This time it's wielding a sword, and the sword has a nasty effect that it would bypass your shield's defense entirely. Fortunately, we do not have to deal with that if you're able to take it out in one hit, as Yume is able to do. Yume now, though, facing off against Garuda, trying to use AI1 strats where you can get an extra hit in against, or two, depending on the situation, against the Garuda, but Cuny's attack, being Water Elemental against... Ooh. Oh!
That's rude. That's rude.
That's very rude indeed.
Oh, no.
This is... not great. It could have been worse. Cuny being Water Elemental. Oh, but down goes Cuny. Yes. Ugh, that's rough. So Cuny will see, normally if you're turned into a frog, Cuny will not realize if that happens in a door frame, but this happened just one step beyond. So Yumi's going with the backup monster. Let's see what he's able to hatch. Ouch, that rise attack on Deme there. Yes.
Ooh, very close to death, so that's obviously not a good situation to be in right now. And there are at least some options.
Yes, yes.
Decided on the fireball.
Yep. So very good game understanding there by Yumi, realizing that the Maniva had transformed back into a coin, and the moment he would have stepped onto that trap tile, which wouldn't have activated, the Maniva would have activated and whacked Yumi, so attacking from a distance with the fireball, quite nice there. Meanwhile, Deme throwing the Holy Scroll at the volcano to get a temporary ally, being low on health, and having the number of Holy Scrolls that she did with a pretty stacked inventory, that's a good way to go. 2 frog traps in the same room! Wow. And another one that Deme has encountered. Now, I know the randomizer allows you to change the trap spawn rates, but I promise you, these spawn rates are vanilla. So we are seeing the dangers of going up the elevator as a frog, as Yumi's Wind Crystal has been stolen after a Picket's actually done a reasonable amount of damage. That's something you don't see terribly often.
Was. That Picket wasn't really nice. Like, it's already extremely fast and getting so many hits, and it's a little bit ridiculous at times. Even stealing the Wind Crystal. I mean, it could have been worse in my opinion, but yeah, it's definitely not nice.
Agreed.
And this. Oh, that was a short sleep.
Yes,
sleep
thankfully.
trap on Demi's side.
And
not another 50 turn sleep trap. No. Oh.
No, thankfully not. Deme found a second Restore Scroll. That is very much welcome. There are some times where the best option to get out of a situation is to sack Cuny, and being able to do so with impunity is a great option. Yumi dealing with the threat and able to spend a little bit more time hatching that egg. This troll, having a hammer, it's just level 2, so Yumi should be able to dispatch it, with just a single hit there. This is the floor on which we see all sorts of trolls. We see the puns are out in force today.
Certainly. That pun really hurt my soul. I approve.
Yes. So what will we get?
Hatch.
It's a Arachne. So
Who's that Pokemon?
So Arachnes, they don't start off with it, but they do have the trait or the talent of getting double attack or max attack when leveling up. So if Yumi is able to find a Hazak herb that will restore the Arachne's attack to full, which will be quite a nice.
Many pickets.
Yes. Thankfully, just doing paper cuts, which sometimes you can get death by 1,000 paper cuts, but that's
And he disappeared again. Well, I wonder when he will realize that Discord yeeted him right outside again. Oh well, never mind then. Oh, yeah. Yumi using the Tamafru to turn the Manueva into a frog, which makes it a little less dangerous at this point. And dispatching it also very, very quickly. Picks up the wind seed and light seed on the other side. So yeah, here we another kind of trap that raises the ground and blows it randomly. This can be... yeah, it can be not too bad, but sometimes, if the room allows it, it can be so worse that you can't get out of your position until the rounds of turns up, until the floor changes back again to normal. So yeah, it can be really stressful in the wrong situation. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think that between matches I'll probably restart my system. That sometimes gives Discord a little bit better stability.
Well, we can only hope so, but yes.
Yep. So, Deme, by putting Kuni on AI1, able to keep him waiting for her. That's definitely good play there. Here we see that there was no danger of Yumi attacking the wrong Arachne unless you specifically turn the option on. The game does not permit you to attack your own monster.
That would be kind of confusing if the room was totally filled with Arachnes only. Which one is mine? They all follow me.
Oh, wow! It is a full offensive pickets, but thankfully, monsters, if not aggroed, with a few exceptions, will follow the left wall. So those pickets, at least initially, zoomed off to the other side, but they've caught back up, and Arachne's having to take them out. Meanwhile, we see Deme pulling out her Palumpa and is probably going to fuse them here. Oh, yep, there we go. So she'll get the benefits of the water Kuni strats. Yes, a picket line. Yes, we've tried to come up with collective nouns for the monsters. So, Jeff, go ahead. As you see a group of monsters, call out to your favorite collective noun that you think would be appropriate for them. And Deme encountering that massive item room while already having a pretty stocked inventory. This is causing her to have to make a lot of decisions, and I noticed that today she seems to be playing a little bit more carefully, which is definitely a valid stylistic choice. Everyone has their own way of playing, and sometimes we see that.
Ooh. Yeah, that we do see as well. The ooh.
Yes. 48 damage from that crit, but thankfully the medicinal herb able to heal between 32 and 39 here, healing a nice 37. And using those AI1 strats to get free hits in and take out that Arachne without.
Oh, that didn't. Oh wait. Oh no, it was the wrong Arachne. I got just a little bit jinxed here. I thought Yumi's Arachne just died. But it's the one. It was the wrong one.
Yep. The colors can sometimes be a little bit confusing in this game. Your monster, your familiar, is always going to have some difference in the coloration from enemy monsters, even if you, change their element. They don't switch, but there is a tool available on the randomizer website to allow you to create custom color palettes for the monsters, which can be sometimes helpful for those with color vision deficiency as an accessibility thing to let them determine the monster's element a little bit more easily. So we see Restore Scroll, definitely not using it right away. CUNY would be a much lower level, but for mixture magic purposes, that isn't too much of an issue. Because CUNY is already dealing something like 90% of the damage that he would deal max, and wouldn't be gaining any more with level up anyway. So we may or may not see that Restore Scroll get used on CUNY. Might choose to save it to see if it's a better investment to use on the Arachne if necessary.
I mean, if you think about it, losing CUNY is, of course, not really the best thing you would wish to happen to you, but having the Arachne is really helping Yumi out here quite a lot, so maybe it was some kind of blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. It's also true that if you lose your familiar, you're no longer, and don't pull out another, you're no longer splitting experience, and you're also avoiding fights more often, which might make you go faster, but it's a little bit like just strapping an extra rocket onto the same sort of fuel tank. Yes, you'll go faster, but at the cost of sustainability. So Yumi, speaking of rocketing through these floors, nearly done with Viper Town, as we call it. The floor is starting with floor 20 that has those ever dangerous Viper monsters.
Yeah, but Deme got also a little bit of ground back, so Deme was really stuck on a long time on floor 10 and 11. Mm-hmm. But now it's also ramping up a little bit here, so...
Ooh.
Oh, and the same situation, not quite the same situation, but also walked right into the frog trap. Not a maneuver, just a throw, but yeah.
Now, I think that she's in a better position because although that frog trap did affect them in the same place, and they've both got hit by a monster, at least CUNY was taking on a fire monster that time, and was able to survive the encounter, using a water crystal there to restore CUNY's HP and MP. Not your own, the description.
And it happened then again, so yeah. Oh, you're already back? Oh,
yeah, I'm paying more attention to it this time, just so...
So you were saying?
Yes. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Maneuver. Oh no! So you were saying? What about the better position, huh? Well, at least CUNY lives.
Yes, CUNY lives. I think CUNY was a little bit higher level, and that Menowave is not fooling anyone having transformed within full sight of Ko, but once you see Menowave for the second time in the tower, they do have the ability, and they will have the ability when you see them the third time to also be transformed into other monsters in the tower. So you might think that you're fighting one particular monster, but it's actually a Mana Weaver in disguise, and so your attacks may not be dealing as much damage. Oh, I don't know. So I think they was putting down an item to be able to stand on it, so the picket would take that one. Because if you're standing in an item and the picket goes to steal, it will definitely take the one that you're standing on. If it succeeds. Oh, that's a clever play there. Oh no! So it can be very tricky to perform, we call it stutter stepping, in order to stand on an item's tile without picking it up. So I really like what Deme was going for there, dropping that item down. Just involves pretty precise inputs and easy to mess up. We see you may, meanwhile, choosing to use the Restore Scroll to revive the Arachne. I think, given how well the Arachne had served him, that's not a bad move, as well as having the block there for protection.
Yeah, certainly. We already kind of predicted at this point. But Yumi's really, really on a good pace here, so could be a little bit tough to get till a level 40 in the time frame, but 30 is certainly in. And it's the part of the game where it just gets ridiculous dangerous.
Yeah, speaking of dangerous, Deme has lost CUNY and is presently slowed. Pickets take 2 turns anyway, so when you are slowed, they will be acting 4 times to your every once. Thankfully, the picket attempting steal, failing, and warping away. So that encounter could have been pretty deadly. We see a stealth there, or we don't see a stealth there, rather, that was harassing me. Thankfully, your familiars, if set to attack, will attack without issue. And Deme here getting revenge on that picket, having it been paralyzed. Nothing can do now, and she gets her, I think that was a Restore Scroll? Yes. So, keeping that Light Seed, she will be able to do a trick very similar to what she did before, where she threw the Wind Seed at a monster. She can throw the Light Seed at it, turn a monster to fire, and use her water elemental CUNY to have the advantage. You see that she also walked over that, hoping to have room in her inventory, but her pouches are just busting at the seams here with all of the helpful items she's found this time around.
So we see Light Seed, it's also very useful with a lot of fire-based monsters coming up later on as well.
Yep. Ooh. This is not the greatest position that Yumi finds himself in. Because... Oh, and down goes Arachne. Yes, you can't return the Arachne to your bag, or a monster to your bag once it's lost, until you get kind of back in range of it. So this is interesting. Yumi's zoo fighting for him. He's used that holy scroll to make a temporary friend there. But that rocket fuel is beginning to peter out, and holy cow, that is quite a stacked item room.
Yeah, just don't hope it's somewhere on Manueva or something like that. Ridiculous. Everything is Manueva.
Yes.
But we don't hope for these kind of things. The tower is already cruel enough. If
definitely
one player wins this game, it's not the players, it's the tower, so...
Sometimes that's all it takes. So we see Deme there having her poison ball stolen by a picket. She's losing that blaze ball. That's a little bit unfortunate. Now this is one of those times where it's like deciding whether you should wait for a bus or just take an alternate means of transportation. So she's clearly choosing to try to get her items back, letting CUNY do the fighting there because CUNY has no inventory of which to speak. I mean, technically monsters can hold on to a single item, the lava fruit, but that's beside the point here.
Also, the pickets don't really do much damage against CUNY, so that's also really, really safe.
Right, even with the elemental advantage, they're just super weak. Yume here having to blow through a few resources to get through these encounters, using both a binding ball and a Mahel seed in order to get some distance. And here we see a Barong.
It just isn't a good time to feed the Barong in this place right now, so you just take it with you. This is mine.
Barong, normally a little bit like the... Oh! Wow! It's one of the few times I've actually seen a bump trap do anything bad at all. So... Yume wisely deciding
to... Holy bell, yes. That's hilarious. Oh no.
And unfortunately, Deme has gone down. That's definitely not. That's a shame. So she still does have the right to re-enter the tower, but she would have to make it up past whatever floor that she went on, and she's going for a bath. I think it's pretty clear that she's probably not going to try to go further. We can let Yume know that he can continue if he likes, because the players are able to play for the
full duration, basically, or just end it here and they start up the new seed. So Yume has a really, really good run here going on, so that would be potentially a candidate for reaching the top right now at the moment. So there's that.
Yep. So just type in there to let Yume know that if he wishes to continue, he can. Because in this tournament, we're looking to give players that option. That's hey, maybe they may not have reached this high of a floor very often, and would like to see how high they can go.
I mean, even in a race setting, this still counts for the leaderboard as well.
It would if this were not done using the randomizer.
Oh well, if there would be a randomizer leaderboard, then
Yes, it's true.
so Sentner, get it going.
So, Yume has informed us that he will choose to move on to the next round, which is totally fair. You know, either way, it's up to the player. So we see Yumi there resetting his timer, and we'll be loading up the seed. I'll let Deme know that her seed is good.
Yeah, and level 30 is really extremely well. So good job there. So
Yeah.
basically, if you really want to get, quickly want to get something to drink or something to snack, well, quickly to the toilet, now is basically just really quickly the time for that.
Yep, or restart your computer, as I'll be doing. So,
yeah,
please.
go ahead.
Okay.
And we will maybe see you in right a moment then. And basically, we just saw one of the most murderous monsters in the tower. The killer, literally. Well, that naming, though. But yeah, it does what it's named after, so you really don't want to get into its way. Right, a little bit
Okay.
till we get to the next round, and welcome back.
Yep. All right. So, just going ahead and
Get the next timer ready.
so sorry for that short delay there. This will hopefully mean that I'll be able to join you without fail. So I've let Azureyume know that the seat has been confirmed, and we'll be able to proceed to the outside of Ko's house, which is where the any percent speedrun begins. We do that. So every time you reset, you're not having to mash through all of the opening text. It doesn't look like too much here, but that's because we're using the randomizer to actually skip over probably about 3 minutes at least of introduction.
Yeah, it's a lot at the beginning, so especially if you want to practice some, get some runs in, you just can make a save state in front of the house and The time will begin with the first movement, basically. So, yeah, you don't have to see everything in before that. Again and again and again.
Yep. So, just confirming that Deme is also good here, and I've given the runners the countdown, or rather had Currybot do it. So the players will be off momentarily here. We see that looks like Yumi has adjusted the background on his timer, so we may be seeing a little bit of screen bleed through there. I think we should be fine. We'll switch over to Deme's audio for the moment, because no one's in the lead right now. Might as well make no assumptions as to who's going to take the next game. So, the runners are off, and oh, thank you for adding that point.
You're welcome.
And let's see about getting them synced here.
First floor, same as usual, a little bit of tutorial, you find the same items, the same tutorial text, and, well, the fun begins on the second floor anyways. At least on first entry, so...
Yep. So, we'll
this
see.
is a fresh tower.
I think that's done it. Yep. Okay, the streams are now at least fairly well synced. I'm always amazed that the wonderful folks at SpeedGaming have just such an awesome setup that allows us to do all of these things. I think they're a channel that's well worth supporting, and I'm grateful for those who sub or give bits. They're also fantastic people to work with. Definitely glad that there's this community here.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, especially with all those different games that or getting a little bit more exposure this way, it's really nice to get more people into the community, be it the game itself or speedrunning in general. It's great to have more people getting into it. If it's, I mean, you can also just join the Discord if you really like to be up to date about everything and chatting with everything. You don't need to particularly be a speedrunner of this game in order to join the Discord or anything like that. So always feel free to join the Discord if you just want to hang out with cool people, chat about stupid stuff, and in general enjoy your time, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. You can go ahead and type bang Azure, or that's !Azure for non-programmers, into Twitch chat, and you will... thank you. Someone pointing out the exact same thing. It's exactly what we like to see. So, we didn't talk about it too much before, but the players are really going to be exploring this first floor in full detail. And Yumi's health getting quite low. The poison will not take him out, but if that had not been a crack trap, but if that had been a different sort of trap, like a slam trap, that would have been a rather unfortunate way to go.
And certainly a really quick way to reset the tower.
It's true.
I mean, you can't. Oh, there was a bomb trap on the Deme side. That's. Well, this tower seems to be a little less friendlier than the one before. Apparently, it's already exploding with everything.
And we'll go there pointing out that the shield that they have picked up, the Earth Shield, does come with some disadvantages. So if Deme had picked that up and equipped it earlier before stepping on that bomb trap, she would have taken additional damage because the Earth Shield, while providing an additional 3 defense over your standard 2 of the wooden shield, bringing it to a total of 5.
But the problem is pretty much, if you have listened carefully before that, you know there's no Earth type in this game.
Quite true. It does mean for defensive purposes that you are treated as a wind monster. I do think it's interesting that for all the shields, they went and named them like slightly differently from what you would have expected. You know, it's the Scorch Shield or the Ice Shield or the Earth Shield. No, still doesn't quite fit.
I mean, Ice Shield at least kind of, gives you the idea about what element it could be. But Earth Shield, I wouldn't think about wind at first. But, well, there you go.
Yeah, the only way I'd think about it next to Earth is when I'm thinking about the band Earth, Wind, and Fire. But
me too. I mean, do you remember? It's not already that time, but don't forget the 21st night of September.
Okay. We should probably get back to the race at hand here. So we see Yume healing back a little bit of HP. Passing turns is a great way to do that. Just as turns pass, whether you wait them out or are walking around, you're gaining back HP at a rate that's dependent on your max HP. We see Deme's already up to level 4 on floor 3. That's a great place to be in terms of level. Because you're really looking to not only gather items, but also gain a little bit of experience before you get up. And some of these monsters give a decent, not terribly much experience, but some considering the difficulty, like the flame here that Yumi's fighting, will take several hits, will deal a fair bit of damage back, and only give you and your familiar 3 experience each, assuming you are at least at its level. So, not exactly what runners want to encounter. Deme looks like she ran across some good experience giving monsters there. Yep. And Deme is
some good and nice extra XP, especially at the earlier levels. It really boosts your HP a little bit, but well, you also have, of course, to think about if killing everything on the floor until you hit the elevator, is it worth it, or you could just get the XP or on the next level or something like that. So there are advantages and disadvantages. Anyways.
Yep.
Just how well and how safe you wanna play the game.
Exactly. What's more, every turn you wait or every attack you do, every move you take.
You just didn't.
You're training MP. So Kitty's MP supply is not limitless, and the items that you find to restore it are limited. So you are going to eventually need to... ooh, Diamond Shield. That is a nice
That's
pickup.
really nice.
Deciding we're done with that. We don't need that Earth Shield. We don't need Iron. We're going for the real things. We're going for Diamond. It doesn't matter if it's cursed. You know, it doesn't need to be an ethically sourced Earth Shield. A Diamond Shield. It's going to provide a nice 7 defense, 6 after being cursed. You see attack's now dealing 1 damage, and it will not rust if you were to hit a rust trap. But
yeah, I just wanted to mention that it's something that we haven't seen yet so far. Rust traps can be annoying, to say the least. I mean, your item stats get some -1 modifier, and it kind of stacks if you hit multiples, because there were like 3 in the same room. It's really not that great if you hit multiples. If you hit like 1, it's manageable. After that, it just gets really frustrating in one way or the other.
Yep, if your weapon rusts or your shield rusts, or both, that can be quite problematic, especially early on. Now, we saw there are a few downsides from cursed weapons or shields. Of course, you can't take them off unless you remove the curse. As we saw Yume do, he tried to buff it with the blue sand, but it does not work on cursed items. And also, the game does not tell you about it, but there is a hidden debuff that you get when you're cursed that basically lowers Ko's luck range. So the maximum possible luck that Ko could have is lower, and it's very difficult to remove that. It only goes away by either leaving the tower or using a cure-all herb. Otherwise, even the decurse scroll, which removes the curse from the item, does not remove the curse from you.
I mean, it makes sense that curse works that way, but it's still really hideous if you think about it.
Oh, quite. So we see Yume taking advantage of the property of the life wand there, that as you attack, you'll gain back 1/8 HP rounded up. Interesting that Deme has not chosen to equip it just yet. Wands, while having attack of 1, do give you a percentage boost to your mixed magic attack. And Deme now putting it on. She may have been waiting to see if she could have gotten an elemental wand, just in case that life wand did happen to be cursed.
Yeah, and now we fret in dangerous waters again.
Very aptly chosen words.
Yeah, I'm a little bit proud of myself there, so yeah.
Yes, we've re-entered the water floors, and normally the most exploring you want to do here is just finding the elevator and getting out of dodge, but we see Yume, in his approach over, did get a pillar ball, very powerful fire spell ball, an egg, which could be a few good things, could be a clown,
a bomb?
Sorry?
A bomb. I mean, you can throw it.
Yes, it's true. It's a very effective technique, the egg bomb technique, and I think about them as a little bit of the Swiss Army knife of items that you can feed it to your familiar to restore some MP. You could hatch it. The possibilities are considerable.
Well, I mean, I have been a little bit out of the loop, but back in my days, I've seen Pulumpa eggs flying everywhere, so there's that. Oh no, another frog trap right in front of Manueva on Azure's side, so it's really not great.
Definitely not. Thankfully, that Menowave is asleep, but it has now woken up, and it is not happy at having its nap disturbed. And you cannot command CUNY in this state, so he will valiantly defend your honor until his dying breath. Meanwhile, Deme has lost her CUNY, which is just the next room over, but oh, down goes CUNY on floor 6. That's unfortunate, and here, no restore scroll, so Deme decides discretion is the better part of valor. She will return to town, pick up CUNY back from home, and take an ascent up the tower. I think that's a very wise play.
Yeah, that's certainly a good call, especially that early on it's already hard enough, and to go any beyond solo can end up in wasted time in one or another way. I mean, if you get at least to, like, for Yumi now, like, to floor 11 or 12 or something, that's already pretty nice, but you have already, or still, so much time left that you could use that time instead to go up again.
Yep. No, you are restricted on the number of items you can bring in, so we see Deme here having to throw away items. I would... it's definitely also fun to make a tower with them. I prefer to sell them, not for the money, because the money is not going to do you terribly much good, but just because I find it a little bit faster than going into each item and saying have. I always thought that was a strange way to have translated that over. I would have thought hold would have been better, but we see me here hatching that mystery egg. Let's see what we've got. It's a clown.
Ooh.
So clowns are wind type monsters. Their default magic spell, when used for mixed magic, does let you fire off at a range if it is a fire elemental, but here, because it is wind elemental, we're doing Thunder Wave, and I'll get my chart up here to give the stats on that. One moment.
As Demi re-enters the town now, gets her CUNY out. Just simply forgot it at the entrance because the AI settings were not set to basically to follow and use mixed magics. But as long as you don't forget it at the entrance, everything is fine.
Yep. It's also good that she remembered to go back and grab it altogether. I've seen some players enter the tower, not remembering to go back into the little monster hut and grab that monster, and then suddenly you're in the tower, and you need to try to feed yourself to the Palumpas or trolls in order to have them help you escape, we'll say, back to your home.
Yes.
So, Yumi here using Fireball to quickly dispatch that clown. Clowns do have the spell Lowdown, which can cause Ko to drop, or your familiar, if cast on your familiar, down to 1 experience below the threshold to your current level. So, if you were just about to level up, like was the case there, you'd lose all of that experience that you had built up to that point. Could be quite annoying. So
that's why I hate clowns. Not just because they're clowns, but it's really annoying if that happens.
Quite. So we see here Deme is not just a fan of horticulture. She knows that there is a secret way through the bushes. Unfortunately, it's on the other side, but thankfully she's already on the side where the general method over to the elevator is. And we'll see an encounter with Gosh, a character that you'd normally see quite a bit if you were doing a casual playthrough of the game, but that we only encounter on floor 2 of re-entries. Meanwhile, we see Yume is not taking too careful or too much advantage of the fact that Thunder Wave is a ranged mixed magic attack. Let's see if choosing to use it here. Oh, blind. That's a nice happenstance. Able to dispatch it, get some free XP. Meanwhile, Deme is already on floor 3, so she definitely has potential to catch up here with Kuna at a higher level, some decent equipment. There's every chance that she could still take this and force a game 3. I don't root for players, but I always root for more Azure Dreams.
Oh, certainly. You never know what happens next.
Of course.
Yeah, and also chat mentions the thing about having range attack is you normally don't have that. So having that is basically a matter of, oh, right, that's a thing.
Right, and what's more is it doesn't automatically happen by you just attacking when not in melee. Oh, interesting. We see you may hear pick up the limit fruit. I don't believe that's actually going to help here when using mixed magic because, or at least this particular mixed magic, the Thunder Wave or the wave type spells are treated as using the spell damage calculation rather than the melee attack stroke mixed magic calculation. So that's unfortunate, but yes, in order to fire off the range, you have to specifically tell your monster you want to do a mixed magic attack. Otherwise, you just kind of menacingly wave your wand in front of the enemy's face as it just approaches, wondering quite what you're up to. So, we see Yumi staring off against that griffin. Griffin's... Ooh, this is not ideal. It only has a 1 in 8 chance to hit him, but using Wind Spell for mixed magic, that's not going to be able to take the griffin out terribly quickly.
Yeah, that will take a while.
Right. And I think
Griffins are also really, really dangerous in their own way, so using the malicious core was the best you could do probably at this point with that item set right now.
Quite possibly. If runners are aware of the possibility of ranged magic attacks, you can occasionally... you can occasionally use it at a distance to cause monsters that haven't yet aggroed to turn around, and instead, avoid the encounter altogether. Yumi there deciding not to feed the light seed and change the clown's element. That's definitely the right move because unlike the sword type mixture magics, Thunder Wave is absolutely level dependent. Thankfully, the clown has the talent of doubling levels earned, or doubling.
The magical power of making programmers disappear again. And
Yes, I'm paying very close attention, but
yeah,
I
you
think
can't
that,
fix it.
yeah, unfortunately, I think that's next time I commentate, I'll have a separate Windows computer running Discord to handle that. Anyway, okay, so changing the clown to water element will mean that it will no longer have that increase, but you will be able to get these 2 hits in on it. The one with your weapon directly, which is where you get the life back from, and the other from the spell actually connecting. Aww. Thanks, Zen Knight. I like your smile. No, I'm kidding. I love you too, Zen Knight. Zen Knight. Ooh, one room floor.
Oh no! Oh my god! Yeah, this is also something that can happen. It's just one giant room, and this is usually not too good.
Yep, possibility. I think it's 1 in 256 of getting a 1 room floor, and that's the diamond shield that Deme found is also cursed, so that's not what she was looking for there, I'm sure. Oh, or was that the same diamond shield that just hadn't gotten decursed? I think that was actually the case. I stand corrected. Yeah, no, Sand Knight, one of the founding members of the Discord, the person who kicked off the idea, and we all owe him greatly for that. Despite this, he is an excellent sport about, just joking around with himself. I think the community owes him a lot. So, we're going to see if Deme can catch up. As Azureyume has widened the gap a little bit here. Unfortunately, because the clown has changed element, its spell will no longer continue leveling up. So this is going to reduce, it'll become more problematic.
DPS, basically.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. But yeah, so you really want to revert it back at one point if you want to have the additional damage. But the problem is, of course, that you still need to level it, all the XP that it missed, basically. So yeah, changing elements can really help, but it can be really difficult to work with if not used correctly. Yep,
and we see that Yume is quite happy to have found that restore scroll, but opts not to use it on Huni. Sorry, old friend. Not here, not now. But one thing is, if switching element back to wind, you and leveling up, the clown will at least gain double levels because it's kind of catching up, as well as its existing talent. So it will look like your spell level goes up by 4 each time you level up, until you get at least caught back up to where it ought to be. Here, we see a little bit of a dangerous situation that Fireball is out, but thankfully still have the Pillar Ball. Spell balls do have between 4 and 7 charges, except for the initial Fireball you find on the first floor, which always has 5. Thank you, Iron Chef USA. That's exactly the case. Yes, they call those spell variants that you get isotopes, and the isotopes do no longer level up. It is very interesting, though, being water element, you do get the 2 hits in, one of which also gives you a little bit of HP back through the life wand, so water, in addition to intrinsically being oftentimes the best option, this one gives you just a little bit of added bonus.
Also, I think personally it's a really great combination that way with the life wand, so it maybe not be as strong if it was still the wind type, maybe, but getting life back with each hit is still pretty nice and makes it a little more sustainable. Yeah, depending on how much damage you actually do in taking, but overall, I think this is a nice concept to work with.
Yep. And given that all of the attack spells in the game that you can find in ball form are fire elemental, like the pillar ball that you may just use there, you can oftentimes have tools to cover deficits against, say, wind monsters like that Garuda there. So looks like a little bit of a discussion chat about the off-element leveling. Now there is an option within the randomizer to turn that property of the game off, that you can still have off-level spells or off-element spells still level up as normal, which is definitely good if you're, say, randomizing your familiar's element. Ooh, well, that warp trap, at least putting Deme right next to the elevator, she could tank a hit here and go on up. Absolutely the right call there, because her familiar will go up with her, and that just proved to be a shortcut out of floor 8.
I mean, that's really nice to catch up a little. I think Yumi also was stuck around the 11th or 10th floor mark again, so if Deme gets past that, I think the next floor after that can be traversed rather quickly as well.
Right, now they will have different towers because Deme's on her second entry. Now, of course, if Yume were to encounter something unfortunate here that would send him out of the tower, his second tower ascent would have the same layout as Deme's second tower ascent. It works up to, the de-randomizer works up to 32 towers in a row, so you can think about them as all in a line, all different from each other, but the same series across the two runners. So, Deme, they're fighting off against that Bloom. Here we see one of the... we saw its ability to attempt to brainwash, which was not successful as CUNY is immune to brainwashing. He has that talent. Oh, this is exciting. So we see that Deme here has activated a glitch by picking up her CUNY and feeding it a Tumna fruit. The game's like, oh, okay, well, this monster's not here anymore. We need to replace it with something else. And so it marks that tile as not having anything on it. So monsters can no longer target you. It's wonderful technique there. And I always love to see when runners pull off crazy shenanigans like that.
Yeah, it's a really useful technique if you at least know about it. But it really can get you out of such a pincer attack, for example. So using it at the right time can really break or do your traverse to the tower here. But that was really well executed at this point.
Oh yes, absolutely. And can you turning back right in time just when needed to take out that streamin'. So that's interesting. We see the wee dog, just like the bow troll, that's special AI, so it's still able to do its special ability, which is to throw out meat while confused. And Skeef, I do believe you are correct that the tile or the glitch also gives tile immunity when the frog converts back, so you can get 2 uses from one if you're carefully counting the number of turns that have passed since you fed the Tumna.
And also, very much welcome everyone from SpeedGaming too that got traversed over here to our Azure Dreams speedrunning tournament, where we have 2 runners go up the tower that they try to climb as fast as possible within a time frame of 1 hour, and the highest floor wins.
Yep. Deme did have to leave the tower on her first attempt on floor 6, but that was not too deep into the run, so she's continuing on. This is a seeded match, but because they're on different tower climbs, they will encounter different layouts. And we see that she's traveling at a pretty decent pace. Pretty much going up 1 floor for every floor Yumi goes up, but not able to close that gap just yet.
Yeah, just yet, Jens, but a few more spring traps here and there, and there's certainly no gap in between them anymore. But now it's getting really dangerous for Yumi on that side. But dispatches the Viper pretty efficiently here. But getting hit by those, is something you don't really ask for.
Yes. The Mayor of Viper Town is just should be more welcoming to guests to his community. I think that they might get more visitors that way rather than just the occasional adventurer trying their best to make it through. Maybe get some more tourism, something like that, something for the kids.
Would anybody think about the children?
Oh boy. So we see, thanks to the magic of the Restore Scroll, the clown is down. Clown is back out on Yumi's side. That's a prison trap. Thankfully, not coming at a awful moment there. That could have been a little bit tricky. Let's see what sort of scroll we have. Decurse. Not what we necessarily need here, because it's not quite likely. Oh, he's got the blue sands there, so he will be able to buff it. That's pretty nice.
Good call.
Yeah, I like that play. I was questioning it at first, and they're going to go ahead and show why they're the players and not me. I'm frankly pretty awful at this game.
You just program it, right?
Something like that. So, Deme making up to floor 11. Again, keeping that about 1 floor difference. They're both in the elevator rooms.
Yeah, and Demi got teleported right into the teleporter room, so that's a free floor at this point. If that monster would actually go down there, please.
Yep.
Did you kind of step down?
Mm-hmm. You don't have to be rude and push them, but volcanoes, I do believe you can push. I know you can definitely pick them up. Ooh, so that's nice play that we don't get to see very often. They used the recovery ball there to heal a little bit from CUNY. It's a little bit difficult to use sometimes just because you're not able to use it on yourself. But I like to see when players are using everything that they have at their disposal. In order to progress. So Deme here, although she started in the same room as the elevator, more than likely looking to maybe gain a few levels on some of the monsters that she's able to take out, as well as stock up on a few items.
But there are not that many around, apparently. Or more or less the most items are in this room with the coins, but otherwise there's not much on this floor, so maybe Demi is also ready. Nope, not heading for the next floor. Alright.
Yep. Well, who knows? Maybe that fruit is, well, maybe it was a roche fruit and she would have been able to find herself a Garuda and absolutely warp her way to victory. So, unfortunately, their trolls are able to, if they're able to get a clean line of sight to Ko, they will fire, if possible. So she closes the distance safely. Very nice play there in order to, minimize damage. And we're getting also a raid from SpeedGaming 3. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching a race of Azure Dreams, a roguelite game for PS1. Currently, Azureyume is in the lead, with the goal of trying to make it up as high as you can within the 1 hour time limit. Oh, and there's the welcoming committee from Viper Town.
Yeah, they tend to ring around. And Demi finds more or less the spring trap.
Yep. And nicely using an ice rock ball there to cause the enemy monsters to aggro onto it. And hey, there's your egg bombing that you mentioned. Not able to kill, unfortunately. And I think
But
that we're
still
seeing
decent damage.
definitely. So we're seeing there that the diminishing gains that have been put on place due to the off-element spell not leveling, that otherwise that spell would be at the same level as the clown times 2, but instead it's only 10 times 2, which 10 being the level at which the clown's element was changed over. Meanwhile, Deme is hatching her Palumpa. We're probably going to see her fuse that into her CUNY, and she can do the water strats.
And Yumi is casually carrying this Viper around and throwing it into the next trash bin as well.
Definitely. That's also showing good game knowledge there, because paralyzed monsters are unable to resist your attempts to pick them up. So, even if the binding only lasts 1 turn, that's all you need in order to pick them up, and once they're in your hands, they can do nothing, so...
And Yumi does it again very efficiently here.
Yep. I love the picking up mechanic in this game.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, but it's not a guaranteed thing, and not all monsters can even be picked up, but on those where it's possible, you do have a 5 in 8 chance, so better than 50-50.
Yeah, it just doesn't work when it would be really the moment where it should work, but otherwise than that, it works every time when you don't need it.
Yep. So, Emi here, making up to floor 24 at around 3/4 of the way through. This is pretty good pace. Meanwhile, Deme still keeping the gap between them kind of down to the same, which is telling us that she's going just as fast as Yumi, just having to start at a little bit of a deficit, having had to leave and re-enter the tower. But it says that, her play is strong.
That's the problem with re-entering on your own. Demi wasn't forced to re-enter, but the situation wasn't that great, so starting over wasn't really a bad idea per se. So, like you said, really good pace. Just the mishap of doing this first 6 floors again.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. We see a stealth there harassing the clown, while and there it goes again. So yeah, thankfully, if you pay attention to where you're being hit from, you can go ahead and hit it with perfect accuracy, just as long as you know where it is. So we see here Deme now onto floor 16, and starting in the elevator room. So if she so chooses, she can head right on up this elevator train, and now we're seeing that gap start to close.
I've always kind of the feeling, it just could be me, but around this range of floors that it occasionally happens, or how should I say it, more frequently happens that the elevator is basically next doors. And here we see on Yumi's side a blind trap, which is really disgusting in its own ways, because Yumi really navigated pretty well with that darkness going on, so that was really, really well done.
That was impressive. Also, just to answer, thank you, Tio. I do know how to say Azure, so so we'll call him Azure for the moment. So I should explain a little bit about what chat was talking about there, about the Gruta being tossed there in the egg bombing and why that's such a loss. So the Gruta has a pretty broken ability, broken in the sense that it's just phenomenal and kind of there's no real equivalent to it. So for something like 1/4 or 1/3 of an MP, you're able to have the Gruta abduct you, and 2 of you basically operate as if you had hit a warp trap and warp to a random room, which allows you to avoid all of these deadly corridors and just switch around to random rooms until you find the elevator. And Deme's found an egg and a go trap, so she might. It's possible to get a Gruta on these floors in egg form. So who knows if she'll
that would be such a game changer at this point. I really hope she tries that.
Yep. Even better. Oh, and the clown is down for the count this time. Yeah, even with that familiar bell, you're not able to call your friend back from fainting, so... Let's hope, though, that Deme finds some truth glasses so she's able to see if that is indeed a Gerda egg before investing the potentially large amount of time in hatching it.
Oh, good call with the binding ball, because this is like Azure at this point, almost getting binded himself. So, he dodged a bullet there. So that was could have been really devastating.
Quite.
That? Huh.
So, as you're going and tanking those hits, heading right on into the elevator, this is, quite dangerous going up to a floor with reduced health like that. Oftentimes, you'll want to clear out the room and wait near the elevator to gain back some HP, but sometimes that's the right play to just boldly step on through, tank a few hits. Oh, and we see that Azure's trying to hatch that egg. Let's see what we get.
Oh, there was a rust trap now on Deme's side.
Yep. Thankfully, neither of those items are metal and can rust. So, we see...
Really dodged a bullet. And the next elevator. Come on,
as
Deme,
well as star glasses. So,
nice.
This is beginning to tighten up here.
And
now an
Arachne.
Yep. That Arachne is going to be quite a help. But Deme has found the elevator on the spin-in, wisely waiting a few turns to gain back some HP. I think that she's definitely closing in here.
Bypass?
Yes, and will the Ice Rock Ball pull aggro? Yes, it does. So she... Ooh. I was going to recommend pulling Kuni there.
And run.
Yep. Thankfully, she is able to escape, and Kuni will gain the HP back. It's fine. It was just a flash wound.
And the elevator for Deme is on the complete other side, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, I kind of almost missed where it was. Ooh, Dark Palumpa. This is an interesting little beast. It will not attack. And we've seen an evolution. So at level 20, the Arachne evolves into an Ashura, which is promptly died.
Dead. It's dead. Yes. Oh, that was very short-lived.
Yep. And we see that 26 damage.
Now it's getting really tough for Azure here.
Oh no. Deme has hit her shoulder button. If you hit the shoulder button, she's fixed it. I remember she once had an issue where she had accidentally zoomed in her camera, and the controls for zooming back out are not exactly clear. And Tia, and I'm not certain if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It could be Teo, but the commentary in chat ending with 4512. Again, I know how to pronounce numbers. We definitely encourage you to give this game a try. Pick up. Oh, Yumi's down on 27. That is unfortunate there.
Yeah, it's really harsh this time around. So Deme is also making really good pace right now. So just sadly a little bit too late. I fear. Oh, which floor is this now?
No, because she's on 23rd floor. She would need to make it up to floor 28. So let me switch over audio as well.
That would be really close. There's a lot of luck involved finding maybe spring traps or getting teleported right next to the elevator again.
Yep.
But this camera angle is a really little bit too close for comfort for me.
Yes. So you can just be pressing your shoulder buttons to pull up Cuny's menu, and if you do that while holding triangle, you will change the zoom level or the layout there, and it's not apparent exactly how to resolve that unless you happen to know the button combination in advance. But Deme is doing pretty well, regardless of that. I believe now on floor 24?
I think that's correct. We will see in 1 second.
Yep. $25 now. So, and spawning in the room with the elevator. Down goes Cuny, but you only have about 4 minutes left. Floor 26. Oh, my heart.
2 more floors.
You can do it, Deme. I believe in you. So, having used truth glasses on the fireball, she does know how many charges it has. Unfortunately, those camera angles can be quite deceptive in terms of whether inline or not. Here we see that lower floor egg being used as a bomb to take out the zoo there. Let's see what we find as the camera zooms out when Oliming. Ooh. We're bombing her away here as the Viper takes out the snowman. When you... Ooh!
Okay. We're getting there.
Oh, man. This is tense. All we need is one more floor, and I do believe that we saw the elevator on the spin, and so if we're able to see...
I haven't seen
Uh-oh. That's not connecting over. But... Ooh, this is perilous. Let's hope that this egg bombing does the trick. Oh no!
No!
Pick it!
No!
Oh! And...
Whoa.
Oh, that was so close. Oh boy. Oh man.
So seriously, my heart was like, stopping every second. Oh no. Oh, that's so rude. That's simply just rude at this point. Oh no. That was such a great comeback. I really don't know what to say about that. That was really rude. But that was a really good comeback. Oh no.
So, we're hoping... Alright, so we will hope that our players will be able to join us for an interview. We'll go ahead and
Invited them.
Yep.
But wow, what a game.
That was tense. We saw some great play there. I agree. That was I had a hard time too. So they should have been sent to interview link, and will hopefully be joining us quite shortly. One moment here as we make sure that gets sent over to them. Yeah, we can forward it if they didn't already receive it. Let's one moment here as I send that on over.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh,
Hello! Wow, what a set of games that was. First off, GG to both players. We saw some fantastic play there out of both of you. Backup
GG,
strat.
of course. I was just saying GG, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I'm still really baffled at this moment because that was a. Ooh, that was really breathtaking.
Yep.
Sometimes the best that you can do just isn't good enough. And sometimes you realize it never will be, and I'm a little shaken right now. Sorry.
It's okay. By all means, please take as much time as you need. I think that we talked a little bit about how cruel the tower can be and how it's sometimes rather frustrating and quite a loss if you are really, really close. I happen to think
very nearly, if not a PB for me, so that's pretty good.
That's awesome. We're so glad to hear that.
I mean, getting up all those floors in that short amount of time was just really. Oh, I really wanted to see that game. It was really, really great. So good job on that. That was awesome.
Yes. I'd also like to highlight that you showed us some great tech there. The Tumna glitch to get out of that situation where you were in a pincer attack. I think that was really well executed play there, and we got to see a great variety of play from both runners.
Especially, for example, like Azure like to have a kind of on and off relationship with Cuny or Arachnes or clowns.
Probably the most times I've ever not used Coon before. It was like almost every run I didn't get to use him. They just did not want me to be running him.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
We saw.
What did you end up running into?
I just lost him multiple times, and like second run, I lost him on what? It was the first floor again, and then.
Yep.
Yes, that happened.
So, I think I ran a total of 3 Arachnes, two or three.
Oh, nice.
And a clown there filling in.
Oh yes.
And we saw the clown go down. We saw some restore scrolls breathe some life back into Arachnes, and the tower saying nope. So
It wasn't just some restores scrolls, it was kind of like all of them. Kind of like that one. So, no, really, it was executed really well by your side with what you had. I mean, the first game, the tower, like, threw everything at you with all the items and magic boards and whatsoever, so it was really, really heavily loaded. Well, then the second tower started with this new seed, and it looked a little bit harsher. I mean, to lose CUNY on the second floor is one thing. Deme also was also
About
close
six,
at
I think.
dying.
yes,
And then decided to take another swing at it.
which
That almost paid off.
I agree. Both Panda and I both were talking, and we thought that was definitely the right play because you haven't invested that much. You're able to leave on your own terms. So you're able to bring your equipment back with you, and CUNY keeps those levels. So I was definitely thinking that was the way to go. Yumi took a different route, and that's one of the wonderful things about this game is, everyone has their own different way of playing, and I have to say, Deme, I was impressed by the play that you and Azure you as well, but I've seen your progress, Deme, and I don't want you to forget that. You've made over the course of this tournament. This is a difficult thing that we ask players to do.
Okay. Continue.
It was certainly a really good match to watch too. So certainly there's no need to feel bad about it or something like that. This game is and will be always very harsh, but this was some game, yeah.
Yes. So I did want to.
That was an intense final couple of minutes. And if that egg had been something better, something better, then who knows?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I always run into that one control setup and then I'm never able to fix it, and I hate that thing so much. I'm pretty sure I know what it is too, and yet I still can't fix it.
It's entirely possible that, like, if your shoulder buttons are a little bit flaky, that because we saw that it looked like you had zoomed it back out again, if they're pressure sensitive, yeah, exactly. That's because it works on a toggle system.
Right.
The Japanese version actually has a completely different control scheme, and they have that map to pressing or holding start and pressing the shoulder buttons, and there it's done based off of you press one button to zoom in, the other button to zoom out, so it's a lot less temperamental. As well as the
that seems like a better way of doing things, but that is an interesting fact. I don't think that is an interesting setup.
Yep. So I do want to ask Azure. As you were going through, I noticed that you changed your clown to water. Just as we're going through strategies, it definitely gave you some advantages. Were you looking just for the elemental advantage there, or was that for the spell purpose?
I mean, I just was using this logic that, like, typically I would change Kun to, water in that area, and because it's usually a good type advantage. I'm admittedly not super familiar with all the backup magic spells. I know there's quite a few different ones in the game, and to be honest, I haven't seen quite a few of them. So I was under the impression, because I know that Clown has a ranged backup magic of some sort, and so when I changed him, I thought that it would go to ranged, and it didn't. So wasn't familiar with the spell, but I mean, it worked out a little bit. The other thing I didn't know was the life wand apparently wasn't working with that spell. I wasn't gaining any life with the backup magic when he was doing that.
Yeah. So there, you can actually make both of the spells operate at a range, but you have to manually tell your monster that you want to do a mixed magic attack.
Okay.
We see a question here from chat. They're asking if you had any thoughts about when you did egg bombing and saw a Garuda pop up as a monster.
Oh, I was like, damn it. I was definitely just thinking in my head, like, I mean, I had a feeling like when I picked that egg up, I knew it was from an area where it could be a Garuda, but I was just in the thought process. I'm not trying to, of course it would have been great, but I'm just trying to think survive, go, slow and steady and just get as far as I can is usually the mindset I'm trying to have when I'm going through these tournament runs, especially since of course I want to get there as fast as possible, but I feel like risking something like that, or it's just not worth it in my opinion, because the times aren't valid for the board and things like that. So
right.
I'd rather just slow and steady, get as far as I can with a decent time, than really be trying to break some crazy record getting up there. So it was a bit of a knife twist to see it, but I was like, what are you gonna do? There's no way I could have known.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
And I know I'm sure a simple mechanic, but I will say I admittedly also learned that when your equipment is cursed, that sands do not work. I did not know that, I will say. I used the blue sand, those two blue sands. Yeah, I used the 2 blue sands on my diamond shield, and I noticed the second message. I was like, wait a minute, that didn't say it went up. And I looked at it like, oh my god, it doesn't work if it's cursed. I never knew that.
That is something that I sort of knew and felt very, very sad about.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I think you had to put on that same cursed diamond shield.
Yep. I eventually found a decursed scroll, which was nice.
Right.
But not in the same timeline in which I had blue sands.
Right. Go ahead.
I did find 1 blue sand after decursing it. So that was, at least something.
Yeah. And I learned something today. I had thought somehow that, I don't know why, but, when you left the tower, maybe just because cursed stuff gets unequipped, that it somehow lost its curse status, but no, it keeps that. I think this game always has, at least I feel like I learn something every time I play or every time I watch a match.
Yeah, that's how you're able to sell off cursed items. Maybe I should have requested that we turn that second kit race into a bookless race. A cursed diamond shield has to be worth a lot.
Oh, I'm
I know
sure.
Cursed items are worth a lot. I know diamond shields are worth a lot. Therefore, a cursed diamond shield has to be worth quite a bit of cash.
It's gotta be. If someone offered me a shield made of diamond, I'd say, oof, this thing has got to be.
That.
Yeah, well out of my price range.
Imagine trying to sell that at a shop and be like, sorry, I don't have that kind of money.
So, unless our players have any closing thoughts, I think we'll close things out here. I would like to thank both of our runners for showing us an amazing performance today. If you haven't already, go ahead and give them a follow on Twitch. They put on they put themselves out here and do their best to put on an entertaining race, and we saw that today, so that would be much appreciated. Also, I would like to thank the lovely folks over at SpeedGaming for hosting us, and this is they do great work. And I would also like to thank you, Panda, for commentating alongside me today and filling in when my Discord inevitably crashed.
Of course, you're welcome. So, yeah, a few words from my side as well. So, thank you both for this amazing race. Like I said earlier, you can feel good about yourselves and don't let that get you down. Certainly, this was a very, very exciting race that I still need to cool down a little bit of, because that,
it was certainly
that
intense.
this was a really fantastic comeback. So you can really be proud of that. Certainly, you both showed very good knowledge and skills over the course of the matches. So this tournament did actually what it was kind of intended to do. So to get you up ahead, and I think that's a really great way to see the progress of everyone who runs in this tournament style. And yeah, so also I will make sure that the finals will be also restreamed to SpeedGaming Deutsch, so to the German community, because that's what I've been doing the most time. So yeah, I've been filling up for the English commentary today. It was really, really nice. So thanks also to you, programmer, for keeping me accompanied here. So yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks, guys. GG.
GG.
All right. Good job. Badger.
Yeah, you too, Deme.
I'll talk to you later.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
one, guys.
All right. Thank you, chat, and we'll talk later. Bye.